So good morning, everyone, and a warm welcome. So this is our first session for the surgery journeys, and I'm really heartened to see all of you on a Saturday morning, shiny and bright with us. So really heartening to see that. Just to introduce, what this whole initiative is about, I'll take 1 minute of your time, and then I'll pass it on to Jacinta to introduce the team who will be helping us here, and then we'll flow from there. So basically, this whole initiative is to smoothen your surgery journey. Anything and everything you need for surgery, right from which doctor to go to, which hospital to approach for your specific case. If you need to speak with somebody who has gone through certain surgery themselves, and what their journey was like, if you'd like to connect with them, we could help you connect with them. If you need help with any questions around your insurance, any questions around how much anything will cost you, we could help you there. And also throughout the insurance journey, throughout the surgery journey, if you're going through us, we handhold you. So in a nutshell, anything surgery, if you think of surgery, you can just reach out to us and we'll help you out. That's basically what JACI Hospitals is all about. And that's what I want your takeaway to be, and I will pass it on to Jacinta. Thank you.
Thank you, Nitesh. So today we're all gathered here for the topic on how to maximize our health insurance plan. And here to help us explain it is Shashwat Nandan and Nikita Bali, who are both from team Ditto Insurance. And both of them, so Nikita, she is the brand evangelist for Ditto, and she handles a team of insurance advisors who actually closely look and study the profiles of individuals who have or are planning to take insurance, and based on the data and insights that they have, they are able to present to those customers the right insurance plan that suits them at best. So here to address and to simplify, in fact, we'll hear it from their mouths as to who or what is Ditto Insurance, how is it different from most of the insurance companies that we are filled with throughout today. So quickly to take over the session, I invite Ms. Nikita Bali to convene the meeting. Over to you, Nikita.
Thank you so much, Nitesh. So good morning, everyone. Today I'll be discussing a very important topic with you, which is health insurance. I'll try to talk in English, but if at any point of time you feel that you're not able to get what I'm trying to say, please feel free to stop me in between and I can give more clarity. The end of this session, we'll try to keep it as an open interaction where you all are free to ask any sort of questions. Just giving you an introduction about what Ditto stands for. So if you all know about FinShorts, FinShorts is our parent company and Ditto is a product by FinShorts. With Ditto, we have endeavored to simplify health insurance and term insurance in India, because we understand that health insurance, in fact, any sort of insurance for that matter, is not a tangible product, which means that you cannot see its immediate benefits unless you have to go and claim it, right? And that is the whole reason that this is basic human psychology, that I would only like to spend on things where I can see some immediate benefits. So for example, I'll go and buy a car because it helps me commute, or probably I'll just go for a holiday just for fun, right? I'll go and have some adventures. But when it comes to insurance, I probably might feel that, okay, I'm young, I'm healthy. Why do I even go and buy an insurance? This is not something that I'll be using, right? So why do I go and, give premiums or my money to some company who will be securing me in case if I need it? What if I do not even need it? So let me not just, spend over it. The other reason why people do not buy insurance is because they are confused. So basically, insurance in itself is deemed as a very complicated product. There's a long policy document with a lot of terms and conditions, which I do not tend to understand. And then it's basically a very notorious industry, I would say. There are agents and that fear of being missold something. What if my agent sells me something which I do not even understand? And then you might have heard a lot of cases where people had insurances, but when they wanted to go and claim it, they were not able to. So the company rejected their claims. And that is the whole reason people think it's simple, right? If it is that difficult, I'll just stay away from it. I do not even want to put my money into something like this. But this is something what Ditto has endeavored to change in India. We are here to educate people on how to pick insurance, which insurance you should pick based on your profile. And if you already have an insurance, we help you understand the clauses in a very simple language, probably in a language which a small child or a layman can understand, right? Because this is something which will become handy in case if the person is hospitalized. So when the person is already going through an emotional, turmoil, we do not want to complicate things for them further. So that is where Ditto steps in. Now, just to help you understand that this fear of not buying insurance there, majorly because see, insurance companies are there to settle claims. That is the whole reason why this industry actually exists. There are a couple of things which we have to definitely keep in mind before we opt for a health insurance. So let me just talk about maybe 3 major reasons why your claims get rejected. Okay. So number one reason why insurance companies do not settle your claims, even if you have a health insurance, is because let's say I have some disease, right? I have a health concern. Maybe I'm diabetic or I have high blood pressure, right? And now I want to go and buy an insurance. I go to a company and I simply buy a policy without disclosing that I have high blood pressure, right? Now, after the pandemic, most of these companies do not do any physical medical test for the users. They just try to do a telemedical call, and they have no way to find out if you have any disease. Now, if at this point of time, I'm not disclosing my pre-existing conditions, which means this disease that I already have before buying the policy. The company gave me the policy. Now, let's say after a few months, I go for a claim. And now when they do the scrutiny, the company finds out that, okay, this person had a disease before they bought the plan and they did not disclose it. So on grounds of non-disclosure of information, they can definitely reject the claim. So one very important thing when you're going to buy a health insurance is that you should make sure that all your health concerns are disclosed to the insurance company. Okay. And you should also ensure that your agent is mentioning everything in the application form. The next thing why claims get rejected is because of waiting periods. Now, what are these waiting periods? So this is standard across the health insurance industry. Whenever you go and buy a plan, there are certain types of waiting periods that these companies put. So for example, the minimum waiting period is 30 days initial waiting period. When I go and buy a health insurance, in the initial 30 days, which means 1 month of buying the policy, I cannot make any claim unless it is because of any accident. Okay. So accidents are covered from day 1. But apart from that, if I have any disease, the company will not cover it in initial 30 days. If I get diagnosed with any disease after buying the policy, no matter if it is COVID or maybe something as complicated as cancer, the company will start covering it after initial 30 days. Okay. The other waiting period is the specific waiting period. Now, since Nitesh was talking about surgeries, we all know that, there are some sort of planned surgeries. Planned surgeries can be something like, let's say, cataract, okay, or maybe knee replacement, kidney stone removal, gallbladder removal, uterus removal, right? All these surgeries come with specific waiting periods. The list is exhaustive. Like, I'm just giving you some sort of examples. So these surgeries do not pose an immediate threat to the life of the individual, right? And the company does not want that, okay, like somebody comes and buys a policy and now they after a month, they're going for a cataract surgery and now the company has to bear the cost. Now, since the surgery was planned, the company doesn't want that they have to bear the cost. So they will put a minimum waiting period of 2 years, which means for any specific disease, which is not causing any immediate threat to the life of the individual, or for any planned surgery like cataract, knee replacement, hernia, gallbladder removal, you cannot make a claim in the initial 2 years. There are some policies which also have the specific waiting period is 1 year, but mostly it's standard across the industry is 2 years. Now, if you go for a plan and you go for a cataract surgery before 2 years, of course, the company will reject the claim. The third thing why claims get rejected is because every policy in India have certain permanent exclusions. Now, what does that mean? No company is liable to cover these sort of surgeries. Okay, so let me just give you some sort of examples. Let's say some obesity control treatments. Okay, or maybe some gender change surgeries. Some cosmetic surgeries. Let's say I want to beautify myself, or maybe go for a hair transplant or something like that. Right? So the company is not liable to cover these sort of surgeries. Or maybe I want to go for a surgery abroad. I do not even want to get covered in India. I just want to cover myself outside the geographical limits of India. So you have to ensure that your policy is covering yourself abroad. If it is just covering you within India, they would not cover any surgery abroad. Right? So the companies put certain sort of conditions and permanent exclusions. Or let's say some injury occurs out of participating in some adventure sports, okay? Or maybe something which is against the law, maybe a drink and drive case. Again, the company is not liable to cover all these cases. And it comes under permanent exclusions, okay? So you have to be very sure of all these three things before you opt for a plan. Make sure you know everything about the waiting periods, you know the permanent exclusions of the policy, and you're also disclosing any health concerns that you have before buying the policy. Okay, now coming to what actually you should look for while buying a health insurance. So there are a lot of features, a lot of things that your health insurance plan provides you, a lot of benefits as well. But I would just like to focus on three major things, okay? Because this is something which can actually help you save a lot of money. First thing is co-payment. Now, as the name suggests, let's say I just want to go and buy a health insurance, and this agent tells me, okay, you buy this plan, this is costing you 20,000 annually. Okay, I'll get a 10 lakhs ka cover. I think this is a good bet, right? I'll get a 10 lakhs cover for 20,000 rupees. But then this agent throws a discount at me. He says, okay, I'll give you a 2,000 rupees discount. I'll just put a small clause into your policy which says a 20% co-payment. I do not understand what this is. I can just look at the 2,000 discount annually that I'm getting. I'll be like, okay, maybe we can just go ahead with that. Now the same policy of 20,000 rupees is now costing me 18,000 rupees, okay, for a 10 lakhs cover. Now let's say, God forbid, if I have to go for a surgery, assume I met with an accident and now my surgery is costing me 2 lakh rupees. Now, because of that 20% co-payment, it means that I have to co-pay the hospital bill with the insurance company, whatever the percentage is. In this case, it is 20%, which means 40,000 out of that is what I will be paying for my hospital bill. Now that 2,000 rupees annually, which I was saving, is costing me 40,000 in the hospital bill, right? So 2,000 I would have saved over a period of 20 years, right? And now I'm supposed to pay that in one shot. So co-payment is something that you should never have in your policy, right? Your agents will try to sell you policies which have this clause, but as an advisory, we always suggest stay away from this, okay? Especially the age groups that we are talking about, we should always say no to policies which have co-payments. The other thing that you should look for in the policy is that it should not have any disease-wise sublimits. Now, again, as the name suggests, the company puts certain restrictions on some kind of diseases. So let's say if I have to go for a knee replacement, they will say, though you have a cover of 10 lakh rupees, but I will not give you more than 2 lakhs for a knee replacement surgery. Okay. Or maybe for a cataract surgery, I won't give you more than 20,000 rupees per eye. Or maybe for some cardiovascular diseases, I won't give you more than 2.75 lakhs. Now, though you have a 10 lakhs ka cover, but the company has ensured that for most of the diseases, you are not even in a position to claim 10 lakhs, right? And that is where they can offer you that same plan at economical premiums. Again, as an advisory, we suggest say no to disease-wise sublimits, which means that the company should cover the cost of every disease up till whatever cover you are having. If you have a 10 lakhs cover, they should give you 10 lakhs for every disease. right? They should not have any restrictions on any sort of diseases. The third important thing that we will talk about is room rent restriction. I'm not sure how many of you know, but all the hospitals have different categories of rooms, right? Ironically, there are some rooms which are cheaper than others. You can go for a shared room, right? Or you can go for a single private room. You can go for a deluxe room, an executive room, a suite room, right? Just like hotels, now hospitals also have different sort of rooms. So some policies restrict you in picking what room, you can have in a hospital. So let's say some of the government policies, they restrict that whatever cover you have, let's say you have a 5 lakhs cover, they will give a maximum of 1% to choose a room in the hospital. Now 1% of 5 lakh will be 5,000 rupees. And trust me, if you go to any good hospital in some metro city or in any tier 1 or tier 2 city of India, 5,000 seems like a very meager amount, right? You might not find any good room in 5,000 rupees. In fact, like 10,000 for that fact. So always look for policies which do not restrict what kind of room you should have. Other policies will say, okay, the maximum that we'll give you is a single private room. If you want to go for anything expensive than that, you cannot go for that. Or you just have to pay from your own pocket. Now, if you're choosing any expensive room, or let's say after the pandemic, right, we all know that there was a scenario where hospital beds were not available. There was a dearth of hospital beds, throughout the country. And then the patient didn't have any choice to go for a room, right? Matlab, they had to go for whatever was available. They can't even pick, okay, I don't want an expensive room, I'll just go for a single private room. What if there are no beds in the single private room? Right now, the patient cannot wait for a treatment. So at that point of time, if your policy is restricting you to pick any room, again, the person has to pay from his own pocket. So room rent restriction is again something which we definitely do not recommend unless the person specifically says that, okay, probably I'm from a middle class family. An average middle class person, I agree, always chooses a single private AC room. But what if you don't have a choice, right? So always look for policies which do not have these 3 kinds of restrictions. Now, I'll probably just share my screen and show you a bit about what we have endeavored to do. Just give me 1 second. So if you look at my, can you see my screen? Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay, great. So if you look at this is our website, joinditto.in, right? Now, if you go to health insurance section, we have mentioned each of these good points that you should be looking for in your health insurance policy, right? And let's say you already have a health insurance, but you do not know what the basic clauses are. You just have to go there, click on understand your policy, and you can select your insurance company, right? You can select the name of the policy that you have, and you can click on this button check now. And all the your policy are listed down in a very simple and easy to comprehend language, right? So you will get to know what all features are there. You can pick any room. You don't have to split the bill, which means there are no co-payment clauses. You have full cover irrespective of the disease, right? So all the basic clauses are mentioned here. Now we have analyzed more than 150 policies in India, and you can just go there and see what all features are there in your policy. Since this is written in a very simple language, I'm sure most of you will be able to make out, what your policy now means. But let's say you're not able to comprehend again, because maybe this is tougher for you to understand. Again, you have a choice here. You can come to us and we can help you figure out what's there in your policy. You just have to click on find a time to talk and have a half an hour slot with us where our advisors will have a word with you over a phone call. They'll talk to you and help you understand your policy. Okay, you can just click on health insurance, write your basic queries so that we can accordingly get an expert on the call. And then you can click on next and choose a slot at your own convenience, right? Choose a date and a time that fits you best. The other option, let's say if you do not want to have a phone call with us, or maybe you're not able to find a convenient slot, you can WhatsApp us. Now, I'm sure most of you will be using WhatsApp. You just have to enter your name and your phone number and have a chat with us. We have a team of advisors who will again help you understand your policies on a WhatsApp chat, right? And we have advisors from different parts of the country. So if you're more comfortable speaking in a particular regional language, we'll try to get that advisor on board who can help you understand the basics of your policy in your own language. That is there. And all this, the complete process is not costing you anything, right? This is kind of advisory. You can have a free slot with us. Even the WhatsApp chat option is free. You don't have to pay any single penny there. Now, let's say you do not have any health insurance, right? And you want to talk to us and understand which policy you should be buying. So we will try to understand your profile first, which means we'll try to understand your age group, right? What is your age? We'll try to understand if you have any existing health concerns or no. And based on that, we'll give you a couple of options, right? We'll try to understand which part of India you are from. And we'll recommend you companies based on that. Now, most of the companies that we have tied up with have good claim settlement ratios, which means that these are good players in the market who have a very good track record of settling claims, right? And on a very seamless basis. We also ensure that the policies have good features, have comprehensive features, and wherever possible, we are only suggesting comprehensive policies to our users. The third thing that we ensure is that the company should have a good network of hospitals. Now, I'm sure you all are from different parts of the country, and different insurance companies basically have partnered with a set of hospitals throughout the country, right? They have maybe 8,000, 10,000, 11,000 hospitals across the nation. Now, the benefit of going to a network hospital is, let's say you have a health insurance policy from any ABC company, and this company already has a tie-up with the hospital where you're going for a treatment. Now, mostly your treatment in that hospital will be on a cashless basis, which means that you don't have to pay anything from your pocket, and the company will directly pay all the hospital bills, right? Compared to if you go to a non-network hospital, maybe you end up going to a hospital which is not covered by the insurance company. It's not that they will not settle your claim, but they will settle it on a reimbursement basis, which means that you have to pay everything from your pocket, submit all the documents to the company, and then they'll analyze those documents and then give you a claim, right? So this whole process might just take a couple of months, right? Maybe 2 months, 3 months, based on how many applications they're receiving. So it can be a bit exhausting. So it's always better to check the network of hospitals as well. So these are a couple of things which you should be keeping in mind before you opt for a health insurance policy. I've covered I've given you a very overview of what health insurance is and what you should be looking for, because I do not want to overburden you with too much of information. In fact, when I was supposed to read these policy documents, it was very exhausting for me as well, right? There's this daunting policy document which you have to go through. So I do not want to overload you guys with too much of information. That is why I've kept this very brief, just discussing the major things that you should be looking for. And if you guys have any questions over anything, like maybe if you have any existing policy, or maybe if you want to opt for a policy and want to see if you're eligible or no, so please feel free to ask any questions.
Thank you, Nikita. That was brilliant. Very well, I'm sure everybody understood quite a bit. And so we have a few questions already, which people had put while they were registering. So I'll take them first, and then we can go to anybody else having any more questions. Is that fine?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
So so there is one question from Mr. Manohar Jambotkar from Mumbai, and he says, if an insured person had some illness, how much coverage will he get for that?
Okay, all right. So as I mentioned earlier, now this completely depends on what sort of complications a person has. Let's say it is a lifestyle condition like diabetes, BP, cholesterol, right, which is easily manageable. It's not something which is very critical. So this person can apply for any policy. Now, since the risk on the insurance company has increased compared to a healthy individual, right? There's one individual who doesn't have any disease. His weight is in the normal BMI range. And there's this other person who is obese, who maybe has diabetes and cholesterol. So the risk on the insurance company has increased in the second case. Now, based on that, they will give a cover to him, but they will put an additional charge on the premium. So let's say the healthy person has to pay 12,000 rupees. The person with certain illness might have to pay 15,000, 16,000 rupees for the same policy, right? The additional premium, which is called a loading charge in insurance language, will completely depend on what kind of condition it is, what is the current health status of the person. Okay. Now, coverage, if let's say if it is something very critical, maybe the person has a heart disease or maybe like, some sort of other like, critical issues, then the company might even be skeptical in giving them a cover. In fact, the irony in India is that no good policy would be covering this person now, right? You might have to settle for some options which are not very comprehensive. Insurance companies in these critical cases can limit the cover amount as well. So let's say the maximum that they will give you is 5 lakhs, 7.5 lakhs or 10 lakhs, right? Because now they know, okay, like in the future, the probability of this person going for a claim is very high. So why do I give him like, even a higher cover? I'll probably limit the maximum cover to 10 lakhs or 5 lakhs based on what the disease is and what kind of policy he's going for.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, the next question is, so somebody who is, so this is Berlinda, she's 66 years old and she says, can my spouse and I take a health insurance now?
Okay, so both both the couple are 66, is it?
Berlinda, can you pitch in?
Hi, Belinda.
Yes, Nikita. Yeah,
okay,
about the same age, yeah.
Okay, all right. So see, the standard across the industry is that most of these policies have a maximum entry age of 65. Okay, which means that people above this age cannot get into a policy, but it is not definitely, it doesn't mean that you cannot get a health insurance. There are different set of policies which do not have any restriction on the entry age, which means a person above 65 can also apply to it. The other important thing that we have to consider is if you have any pre-existing conditions or no. Let's say if there are any existing concerns, then we will suggest you policies accordingly. If there are no health concerns, there are a lot of policies that you can apply to, right? So you have to look for policies which do not have any restriction on the entry age. Some policies have a restriction of 65. There are a lot of policies which do not have any restriction on the entry age. So you and your spouse can definitely go for those policies.
Thanks, Nikita. And I also appreciate the pace at which you spoke to us, because all of us are seniors on this session, and your pace, and you just picked up what is essential. So thank you so much for this very clear explanation, and we will keep in touch with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Means a lot. Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, I think Barbara also had a similar question. So I think that is covered here.
Yeah, yes, I did. After all, sisters think alike, I think.
Then there is Xavier, who had a question of best policy for senior citizens. He's 60 years old.
Okay, so now since he's 60 years old, right, he's still below that 65 limit, which I just talked about. So Xavier is eligible to apply for any usual plan, right? I'll have to study existing profile first. If there are any sort of complications, I'll suggest based on that. Because let's say there are a couple of policies which do not allow individuals, right? There are other set of policies which do not allow any complicated disease. But as I said, lifestyle conditions, let's say somebody has thyroid, hypothyroid, or maybe osteoarthritis, something like that. The company will accept those cases. They will put two restrictions. One is they will put an additional loading charge on your premiums, which is completely dependent on what sort of condition you have. The other thing is they will put a pre-existing waiting period, which means that your existing condition will not be covered for 2 to 4 years, whatever the policy clause is, right? They will not cover your existing condition immediately. They will put certain waiting period there. And after that waiting period only, they'll start covering that condition. So senior citizens, of course, can go for any policy. This will, and again, like depend on what kind of conditions they have. If they're completely healthy, all the good plans will be available.
Okay, I think that covers most of the questions that we received. If other people have any more questions, then the floor is open.
Yeah, Nikita, yeah, thanks for the introduction. As Belinda mentioned, it was very clear. But based on that age factor, I would like to know till what age is insurance cover given? Up till what age? Yeah.
Okay, so as I
Entry age. Yeah.
Right. There are certain policies which do not have any restriction on the entry age, which means even an 80-year-old person can apply to it, right? But as I said, these insurance companies, they evaluate the risk factor, like not only the current health status of the person, but in future, what is the probability that this person might go for a higher. Let's say if it is an 80-year-old person, right, and they want to have a health insurance. Now the company will evaluate what sort of conditions they have. If let's say they have a set of comorbidities, right, which means they have cholesterol, they have BP, they have other issues as well, the company might just be skeptical. Okay, like I won't even give them any insurance, right? So then there are certain kind of other options that you have. There is something called as group plans, which you get from your banks, right? So we suggest those plans in those cases. Or maybe like another good option is if your children are working in some corporate, right? So if they're working in the corporate sector, all the good corporates nowadays, they even provide like some health insurance. So the good, like if you're not eligible for any retail policy, you can always like, see if somebody in the family works for a corporate and they will be covering you with the health insurance. Because the good thing about corporate is that they do not have any set of waiting periods. You can start using it immediately as well. So that is one good thing about corporates. I always like, whenever I'm talking to individuals who are looking for insurance for their parents, I always like tell them about corporate insurances as well. The terms and conditions are of course different from a retail policy. They might put some sort of restrictions, but in case there is no retail policy available, you can look at that option. Again, like there's no maximum like, limit. There are a couple of policies which would allow individual of any age subject to their medical eligibility. Yes, I think Lalita and Albert have some questions.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. I just wanted to ask about, we are on a policy, health insurance policy for, I think, about more than 40 years with the New India Insurance. And we were on earlier on a 3 lakhs cover. When 10 years back, we moved it to 5 lakhs. Now, we've been having problems with this TPS. Our claims used to go to TPS and then they gave us unnecessary problems. So we have decided to go for portability. So this year we have gone for portability and we have moved to Max Bupa. But in the process of that, I am 77 and my wife is 73, I'm sorry, and my wife is 67. But in the process while moving, so there, we had stepped up the cover to 15 lakhs each. Now we have gone for a cover with 15 lakhs and we paid the premium. But what our problem is now is we would like to know existing diseases, everything was disclosed. Our no claim bonuses also were this. But now we have a problem. Our policy ended on 29th of March. But when they issued us a policy, they issued us a new policy on the 1st of March. Now, is that possible? Why is it that they have taken away 1 month of because our New India Insurance policy ended on the 29th of March. So basically, this new policy with taking portability and giving them a copy of our last policy and everything, it should have started on the 28th of March. So we have lost almost a month. That is one. And two is that we would like to have somebody in policy as to exactly whether we are covered and we will be enjoyed, because we have had no claims all these years. So we would like to know whether we will continue to get all the benefits and from the policy that we have at the present, because we are on new ground. We want to know where we stand.
Got it. Right. So there was some sort of disturbance, but I think I was able to understand the most part of the question. So Albert, now one good thing that you did was you did not apply for any new policy. Instead, you opted for portability. Right now, whenever you port from one insurance company to the other, your benefits of waiting periods are carried forward, which means that you do not have to serve any waiting periods again. If you have already served the 30 days, the 2 years and the 3 years benefit in your previous policy, which you of course have, you do not need to serve these again in the new policy. But if you are going for an enhanced cover, let's say your cover in your previous policy was 3 lakhs or 5 lakh rupees. Now in the new policy, you're going for a 15 lakhs cover. So for the enhanced sum, let's say for the additional 10 lakhs, your waiting periods will start afresh. For the earlier 5 lakhs, it will be carried forward, but new enhanced cover, it will start again. Coming to the no claim bonus part, if your existing policy, like if your previous policy had any sort of no claim bonus accumulated, now in this case, since you are porting to a higher cover from 5 lakhs, maybe you're going to 15 lakhs. So whatever no claim bonus you had will be considered in the new policy and its waiting period need not be served again. So let's say you have an accumulated bonus of 2 lakh rupees. Your cover was 5 lakh rupees. So 5 plus 2 is now 7 lakh rupees. In the new policy, you will not have to serve any waiting periods till 7 lakh. But for the other 8 lakhs, you will have to serve. Okay, that is how it works. The third thing which you mentioned about the date, right? So ideally how it happens is whenever you move to a new company, your new company starts covering you 1 day after your existing policy end. So let's say if your policy is ending on 29th of March, Niva Bhupa should have given you the date of issuance as 30th of March. Ideally, that is the case. Now, I'm not sure if there was some operational, some sort of discrepancy there or some confusion in the documents that you provided. One thing that you can do is you can probably get in touch with us, right? You can either book a call with us or maybe just WhatsApp us and give us the policy document. We would try to go through the document and understand what went wrong. If possible, since Niva Bhupa is one of the companies that we deal, we will try to see what sort of confusion was there. Unfortunately, if the porting process Ditto wasn't involved there, the company will not give us according to regulations, they would not give us utmost authority to interfere in between. But we will still try to escalate the matter from our end and just try to see what went wrong in that case, right? So I would just suggest that once I have more clarity on what happened and what sort of documents you gave, then I'll be able to give more information on this matter. So just try to share the documents with us, and that's how we can go about it. I hope that answers your, yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks, Nikita. Anybody else? Any question?
I want to, I would like to ask if there's any insurance company that covers dental implants.
Sorry, that covers? I think I missed the question.
Dental implants.
Okay, all right. So yes, so there are a lot of companies which cover dental treatments, okay, but it's not that they'll give you a cover in lakhs. There is some sort of upper limit that they have for dental, okay, because they know that, let's say if a person is covering these auxiliary benefits with their health insurance, they'll try to put some sort of limit on the maximum cover that they can go for. And trust me, the policies which give you dental benefits are slightly expensive on the premiums compared to a usual plan, right, which only covers hospitalizations. So as an advisory, we mostly suggest that, if possible, you should always cover these dental, say OPD, maternity, these things from your own pocket, because otherwise you'll have to pay extra to your health insurer for that. They do have an upper limit. If you are specifically looking for a dental policy, I would again suggest that you can get in touch with us. There are some policies, let's say Care Plus has it, Health Premia has it. right? So these policies do give you like, coverage. Which policy do you have from Niva Bupa? I'll just check if that has any dental coverage on you. Which policy did you quote?
Senior. The senior
first, is it?
Senior plus or something.
Senior plus.
Okay,
Senior
so I
first,
think
yeah.
senior first plan from Niva Bupa. As far as I know, this will not cover dental implants. You can go to the permanent exclusions of the policy, and dental is mentioned there in the permanent exclusion part.
In the meantime, I think the remaining, if you want to drop in onto the chat as well, or we could address that. Nikita, in your experiences, you would have received a lot of complex burning cases, which has been found possibly common. Could you share any of those cases, case examples or insights from it, like the most common? Like, I know a few of us here are about to go in for a knee replacement surgery. I may not be necessarily taking the name. And, things like that. And I've also heard from few cases where, for example, in a knee replacement, they're saying you get admitted, but you first thing you have to rush and go to the insurance desk at the hospital, etc. So, very few things that we never know. We never get this on any internet, or this is only found from somebody like a live case. So I don't know, you may or may not have received any such interesting case where I think would help our audience.
Right. I can help you on this knee replacement part. There was one of my old, users whose mother went for a knee replacement surgery. And now, since knee replacement comes, as I told you, it's a planned surgery, right? If it is happening because of old age, the insurance company can put a 2 years waiting on that, which means you'll have to wait for 2 years before you go for a knee replacement. But in my case, my client, his mother met with an accident because of which she had to go for a knee replacement. And since knee replacement was happening because of any accident, the 2 years waiting was not applicable in that case. So you have to ensure that the hospital that you are going to, if it is a network hospital. Now, how our claim settled is, you just go to a network hospital. The insurance company staff is already present in the hospital, right? They have a dedicated desk for insurance companies. So let's say it is XYZ company, you just go to their insurance desk. They'll ask you for your policy copy, right? These days a digital copy works. You just have to give them your policy number. They might ask for the identity proof of the insured person just to verify their age and stuff, right? So you give them that, and then they'll ask you to fill a common, claims form, which will have all the details why the surgery is happening, right? The basic, the time that the patient was admitted to the hospital and stuff. So the claims form is what will be required. And once you submit these, these 2-3 required documents, the company takes care of the rest. If it is a network hospital, right? Now they will get in touch with the hospital staff. So there's something called as a pre-authorized amount, right? Which means, let's say the knee replacement surgery is costing something like 2 lakh rupees. The company will not authorize the entire amount to you. They'll probably give you 1.5 lakhs. So what they usually pre-approve is always lesser than what the exact cost of surgeries. This is just to just to ensure that the hospital doesn't cost them much, right? What the cost is. So they'll pre-authorize the amount. And once the actual surgery happens, once the insurance company has all the actual bills, the discharge summaries and everything, they'll see the actual cost on the bill, and then they'll they'll give you the rest of the amount. So you don't have to do anything in this because the company will directly settle all the bills with the hospital. Okay, if they are able to verify that this is a genuine claim and this wasn't because of any pre-existing condition, the waiting periods and everything have been served. Now, if there is some sort of discrepancy, let's say, maybe the company thinks, okay, this is some sort of non-disclosure case, right? This seems like, this condition cannot develop in a year, or maybe in a month. This person is probably hiding something. They might seek more scrutiny in the case. Then even in a network hospital, they might just say, okay, you will have to pay some security deposit from your end. or maybe like, you'll have to pay the entire amount from your end. Once we have all the discharge summary, all the diagnostic test results and everything, then only we'll see if we want to give you the money, right? So it entirely depends on how quickly the person can raise all these documents. The hospital will definitely take some time. Nowadays, the process is a bit more seamless because you don't have to courier the documents anywhere. The process is online. You just have to go there and upload all the documents. So for my case, like this knee replacement case that happened because of an accident, fortunately the company could see, right, this is because of an accident, and I think within 20 minutes, like 20 minutes is the average turnaround time, the company got back to the client and they asked for the required documents and they gave him a pre-authorized amount, and within a week, I think his mother was discharged and all process was pretty smooth for him. So completely, this can be very case subjective as well. Sometimes a company might need some additional documents, right, which may not be required in some cases, which are crystal clear. But in some cases, they might need some sort of documents as well. So this can be subjective. If it is a non-network hospital, as I said, the person has to pay everything from his pocket. And then only once, once they have discharged, then only they can go to the insurance company, submit all the documents, and then, the company can reimburse the amount to their bank accounts. So that's how it happens. In that case, they will not directly give the money to the hospital. The person has to pay. So completely depends on what sort of surgery it is. If the surgery is because of old age, right? And if the person already has a health insurance, they just have to check the date. If they have already served the waiting periods, they can definitely go for a knee replacement surgery. Also ensure that there are no disease-wise sublimits, because if there are any sublimits, we might have put a clause in the policy document that, we won't give more than 1.5 lakhs or 2 lakhs, something like that. So just ensure that that clause is not there. If they need more clarity, they can definitely WhatsApp us and our team of advisors will be happy to help.
Thank you, Nikita. That was very clearly explained. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So if there's no further questions, Shashwat and Nikita, in case, as JACI and Ditto, what can we do to help, all those who are present here or who will be looking at this later? What's the easiest way in which we can help them explain, kind of give them an additional sort of like checklist, like you're so good at that, so that before, you're equipped, before you even go to speak to the insurance desk at the hospital, and at what time should they start immediately, so that there's least disappointments and least dismay when you're in the surgery. So that's number one. And how can we what are the call to action?
Right, got it. So again, let me just so if you go to our website, we have made it very easy for our users to understand, what basics they should be in their policy. You just go to health insurance and health insurance checklist, right? So all the things which I mentioned and which I did not mention because of the time constraint are mentioned in a very simple and easy to comprehend language, what all features you should be looking for. And if the person still thinks that, okay, they aren't able to get much clarity over this, so as I said, they can get in touch with us and we can help them understand what sort of insurance will be applicable for them, right? Because it doesn't make any sense if the person is not even eligible for any policy now, because because sometimes because of the conditions or the health complications, no company in India would be giving them a comprehensive plan which has all the good features. They might have to settle for a plan which has some sort of downsides. So once we have the profile, we'll look at what sort of policy best suits them. Again, I'll repeat those three things. The checklist should definitely have, first thing is you should always confirm from your agent that there is no co-payment, which means that you do not have to co-pay any percentage of the hospital bill. Second thing is you should have the freedom to choose any room in the hospital, whatever you want to pick. It can be a deluxe room, it can be something cheaper, it can be any sort of room. The third thing is always look for policies which do not restrict any sort of diseases, which means no matter what kind of disease the person will have post the policy purchase should be covered up till whatever cover they're opting for. And this is a very good point. I'll also come to what cover you should ideally have. So see, there's no universally acceptable would, right? But 10 lakhs is something that we suggest that, minimum every individual should have, because most of the complications, again, not all, but most of the complications get covered within 10 lakhs, right? Now, 5 lakhs might not just be sufficient for some edge cases, but a single hospital bill would mostly be covered within 10 lakhs. Okay, now this can be again very subjective. If you think that you want to go for a higher cover, you can definitely go for it. Your premiums will accordingly increase. So these are a couple of things which you should definitely look for. Let's say if somebody is already approaching the later stages of life, maybe they are in the 60s or 70s, 1 lakh, 2 lakh cover will definitely not be sufficient, right? So all these things you should definitely consider. The other important thing which I would again like to emphasize is if you are having if you are taking any medicines on a daily basis, or maybe if you've had any kind of surgery in the past, right, any sort of complications which ever happened, right, it's always in the best of the interest of the user to disclose everything to the insurance company, so that later it doesn't cause any hassles for the user. So these are a couple of things. If they are still not very sure how to go about it, so again, as I said, we have a young team of advisors who are available to help you out. And that's what Ditto has endeavored to change in India. We just want to educate people on how to pick policies so that they can make optimal use of their policies if the need arises.
Thanks. And this link that we've been sharing, so can you just share when you click on that link, how exactly, let's say after this call, there is a case that is being submitted and we needed some help. And where will just if you could lead us on the call to action, how does it work? Okay. So that
right. Clear. Shashwat, can you please? So I'm sharing the link for the checklist with you. You just have to click there and see what all important features you should be looking at in your policy, right? Shashwat will share the call to action link with you guys. So if you want to have a phone call with us, if you're not very very comfortable with texting, you can definitely have a call with us. Please most of our call slots are pre-booked, which means that you might not find any earlier slot. So if you're okay having a chat with us, you can connect with us on WhatsApp. And again, as I said, we have a team of advisors who will help you over chat. If you're very comfortable with a phone call, you can book a phone call with us. So Shashwat, please share that link where the audience can get in touch with us easily.
Sure. So Jacinta, I have shared one tracking link which works just like the website that Nikita was showing, right? So all the call to actions will remain as it is, but it will just help us track whether it came through JACI Hospital or not. Again, second very important point is that no matter what happens, we will never spam you. So all your data is highly confidential for us, and we don't unnecessarily call or spam. So you can be sure that whatever slot you book with us, that's the only time we will ever call you, right? So I think we'll ensure your privacy as such. So feel free to reach out to us.
Join JOI and
Sorry, I couldn't hear that.
/help-insurance.
Jacinta,
Lalita, you're saying something? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Shashwat.
Yeah. So I think that's it. Mostly Nikita has already covered all the points. In case you have any other question, feel free to reach out to us through the WhatsApp or through the call option. And so I'll be in touch with you, Jacinta. So in case you need any other assistance, we can assist you.
If you're not, I think just one more point. I think if the users are not very comfortable, going to our website and booking a slot, I think they can easily get in touch with you guys, and you can let Shashwat know. We can book a slot from our end for them, right? They just have to let us know a convenient time and a date, and we'll make sure that we reach out to them accordingly. If they are not very familiar with very tech friendly or something like that, so then we can just book a slot on their behalf. They can directly get in touch with you, and you can let us know.
That would be in women's help, actually. Yeah.
Yes, that can be worked out, Jacinta. So let me know. I think you can share their details with me, and I can book a slot for them.
Sure. Nitesh?
Yeah, thanks, Nikita. That was quite enlightening. I'm sure everybody is now, at least a little less intimidated by insurance. And if at all they still are, they can always get in touch with you. and your team. So that's something which will be very helpful. And as and when people need it, I'm sure they'll contact us as well, and we will help them get in touch with you.
Sure. Thank you so much, Nitesh, and thank you for this opportunity to connect with your audience. It was very, it was exciting to say the least. And I had a good time because, all the users were very actively involved in the conversation. And I think that is like one of the most important things for a speaker. If the audience is involved, we actually feel good about talking, right? So thank you so much for this opportunity. And yeah. So just let us know if we can be any help in the future as well.
Sure. Looking for many more interesting, deep, insighted sessions as well with Ditto.
Yeah.
Thank you so much and have a great day, everybody. Goodbye. See you
Have
soon.
a nice
Thanks,
weekend.
Aisha.
Goodbye, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.